I think the knoll east of the Nahalka River looks promising.
But it's a knoll. He won't be high enough for people to see and hear him.
Yes, and the trees to the south obstruct the view of the Sea of Galilee, which he specifically requested.
Why does he need a view of the sea?
I think he wanted to be high enough up.
What about the hills north of Khorazim? Huh? There's plenty of height his voice would carry.
It's too steep of a climb.
And the distance is too far for the people from Tiberias and Magdala.
Yeah.
He said he wanted to keep within a day's walk from those cities.
Maybe we're just looking too far north.
What did he request? Grove of juniper or gum trees on the backside where we could camp the night before?
Yeah.
It's like he already knows the place,
Yeah. Just have to find it.
No trespassing. Violators will be prosecuted.
Shalom, shalom. Hope we mean no harm, sister.
We're here on friendly business.
Behind where you are, is that a good view of the Sea of Galilee?
Go away.
That's not very friendly.
Excuse me, are you the owner?
It's closed to visitors.
It's very important that we speak to him.
This is probably the spot.
What? Why? It's completely repellent.
Exactly.
Matthew, look. Mary finished the notices. They're leaving to spread the word.
I hope they can find a way to work together.
What do you mean?
They can't seem to agree on a single thing lately. Myself included sometimes.
Oh, I've noticed. In some ways, it's to be expected.
But not desired, surely.
No. But it's what's bound to happen when you start something that's open to all, truly, all people. Zealots, even tax collectors. People who have been through tough times. People both hesitant and skeptical, as well as bold and confident. People hungry to learn, as well as those learned and knowledgeable. Let's get back to work. How many sections are we up to?
19.
Here's a little incomplete, huh?
There is something about 20 that is more symmetrical. You could always shorten it to 18.
Brevity is usually preferred. Which section stands out to you the most?
Do not be anxious about your life, of course.
Are there any sections that concern you? Give me your honest opinion. I know I don't have to say that, but...
The whole truth.
You know I won't be offended.
It's, well, very striking. But if I do the math in terms of good news and bad, it seems like there's not a lot of good news. Anyone who looks at a woman with lust has already committed adultery. Doesn't that make everyone an adulterer? If your right eye causes you to sin, gouge it out. Wouldn't that lead to an entire population of people walking around with only one eye? Oh, and this one. If anyone were to sue you and take your tunic, let him have your cloak as well. Trees that bear bad fruit being cut down and thrown into the fire. The gate is narrow and hard that leads to life. Depart from me, I never knew you. Do you realize how heavily laden your sermon is with these kinds of ominous pronouncements? I haven't even named half of them.
It's a manifesto, Matthew. I'm not here to be sentimental and soothing. I'm here to start a revolution.
Well, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. That isn't exactly...
I said revolution, not revolt. I'm talking about a radical shift. Did you think I was just going to come here and say, hey, everyone, just keep doing what you've been doing for the last 1,000 years since it's been going so great?
Also, there's the beginning and the end.
What about the beginning?
My concern about the beginning is more logistical. Right now, your opening line is, you are the salt of the earth. I'm worried particularly if it is windy, or if the crowd is larger than we expect, that people near the back will hear, "Salt the earth," and it will immediately call to mind a negative connotation.
The Punic Wars?
Yes. When Rome destroyed Carthage, they sowed the city with salt to make it barren and to curse anyone who would rebuild upon it.
I share your concern about the opening line, but for different reasons. I think the sermon needs some sort of introduction, an invitation into what, as you have rightly pointed out, will be a complex and at times challenging set of teachings.
What does "you are the salt of the earth" even mean? I'm not good at metaphor.
Salt preserves meat from corruption. It slows its decay. I want my followers to be a people who hold back the evil of the world. Salt also enhances the flavor of things. I want my followers to renew the world and be part of its redemption. Salt can also be mixed with honey and rubbed on the skin for maladies. I want my people to participate in the healing of the world, not its destruction.
Then why not just say that?
Come on, Matthew. Allow me a little poetry, huh? Not everyone is like you. Some people like a little flavor. Read the songs of David or Solomon. I'm not going nearly as far with metaphor as Solomon.
I'm reading him next.
Well, good luck. He's probably... Yeah. I told you. These things will make sense to some, but not to others. I don't want passive followers. Those who are truly committed will peer deeply into it, looking for truth. But I do agree with you. We shouldn't begin with salt. You make a valid point. Good work.
You could flip it with the next image. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden.
I could.
Or, whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them. That one's inviting. Master, may I ask why you keep coming down to look at the camp? They've all gone, haven't they?
They have. I'm going to need time.
We have measures in place for crowd control.
And we can set aside some of our men to assist your goat herds and shepherds, keeping the animals corralled on the other side of the mountain.
My goat herd told me about your plans. But I don't like preachers. I don't care for crowds. You're not even offering to pay for the use of my space.
We have no significant money to offer.
We may be able to secure a loan.
Hey,
We have some people in our group who are skilled at negotiation.
why didn't you bring them?
Do you know of any neighboring pastors similar to yours? Someone we could talk to.
Look, I only came here because she said you'd pay for my drink if I heard you out, and I have.
What about product association?
What?
If this man is as important as they say, and the sermon is as significant as they are predicting,
I just don't care about any vagabond teacher.
This is the man who's healed many, yes? The one we've heard about.
yes, think of all the pilgrims that see him as more than a teacher. How many did you say? Hundreds? Perhaps thousands?
Multitudes.
Thousands of people having life-changing experiences on your land. They could see miracles.
What happens when those pilgrims go to market for supplies? I mean, all those travelers, well, they associate your products with the feelings they have on the day. Coming from all over. Your products.
Your milk, your cheese, your wool, huh?
Your name will be the only name they can trust.
Multitudes. Fine. But if I find one piece of trash left behind, I'll sue for damages.
You have our word. We'll leave it better than we found it.
Good.
I can't believe it.
Did we just get the land? I think we just got the land.
We got it.
How can we ever think?
No, they're still
Have we been advertising something that might not happen? What if he never comes back?
Go to sleep and he's not here. We wake up and he's not here.
Correction. When you wake up, he's not here. I've seen him leave with Matthew every morning for the past week.
I think he's just trying to get it right.
Can he get anything wrong?
I mean, for the people.
What if we've all been misled?
How can you say that? You saw what happened at Cana.
Everyone, calm down.
I'm sorry, I'm just nervous.
We're all tired from a long day. We need to rest for tomorrow and go meet the others at the mountain early to help set up.
What if no one shows up?
What if everyone shows up?
Either way, Simon is right. We should rest.
You think I'm going to get a wink of sleep? I just want to make sure I've done everything I can for him.
You always do.
He'll sleep well now.
Matthew. Matthew.
Bye-bye.
I've got it.
If you've ever heard of Jesus of Nazareth, you probably know he was a famous teacher, and his most well-known words have shaped the lives of billions of people throughout history.
Love your neighbor as yourself. Do to others what you would have them do to you.
Now, those sayings come from a collection of Jesus' teaching that's sometimes called the Sermon on the Mount. It's only 3 chapters long, but its ideas and images have endured throughout time.
You are the salt of the earth. You can't serve both God and money. Take the plank out of your eye before you take the speck out of another's.
In the sermon are some really challenging teachings.
If anyone strikes you on the cheek, turn and offer him the other cheek. Love your enemy and bless those who persecute you.
And there are also some really puzzling teachings.
If your hand causes you to sin, cut it off?
But the Sermon on the Mount is not a random collection of Jesus' teachings. They've been organized in a beautiful way so that it's easier to remember and meditate on. There are 3 main parts of the sermon, the middle of which has 3 parts, and then each of those middle parts themselves have 3 parts.
Wow, the sermon has been carefully designed.
Yes, and right at the center of the center is the famous prayer that Jesus taught his followers.
Our Father in heaven, may your name be treated as holy. May your kingdom come. May your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Well, what does that mean for God's kingdom to come on earth?
Well, we have to remember that Jesus was Jewish, and he grew up meditating on the Hebrew Bible, the sacred scriptures of Israel, and they told the story of God and all humanity.
How God created a well-ordered world and appointed humans to rule it on his behalf.
And when humans rule with God's wisdom and love, and when justice and peace prevail and there's enough for everyone, that is God's kingdom and God's will being done here on earth as it is in heaven.
And that's no easy task. Humans foolishly rebel and start building their own kingdoms by their own wisdom.
And so God chose one family, the Israelites, and he offered them his wisdom. It was called the Torah, which in Hebrew means the teaching. And beginning with Moses on Mount Sinai, God entered into a sacred covenant with them.
Why only select one family?
Well, the goal was for the Israelites to be transformed by God's wisdom so that they could represent God's kingdom before all the nations.
But in Jesus' day, God's kingdom was nowhere to be seen. In fact, Israel was under the thumb of Roman oppressors. So what happened? Why isn't God's kingdom coming?
Well, many religious leaders, like the scribes and the Pharisees, they thought it wasn't coming because Israel wasn't being faithful enough to the Torah. Other leaders, called the Sadducees, thought it would be best if Israel found a way to cooperate with Rome, and so they became the power brokers of Jesus' day.
Some ran for the hills to become freedom fighters against Rome.
They're known as the Zealots.
And still others withdrew to the desert, waiting for God to use them to start a new Israel.
But walk around the hill country of Israel, like Jesus did, and you'll mostly find normal people figuring out their lives as best they can. Most were barely hanging on, lots of poor and sick people. Many had lost their land to the Roman occupiers and were struggling to pay the heavy taxes.
They were powerless and hopeless.
And so Jesus went to these people, healing the sick and announcing that God's kingdom was arriving. People gathered from all over to hear his teachings. And one day, Jesus went up to a tall hill and said the arrival of God's kingdom was starting here and now with them.
You mean with the powerless, the weak, the nobodies? God's kingdom begins here?
Yes, this is why the very first line of the Sermon on the Mount is, "Blessed are the poor in spirit." In other words, where can you go and see God's presence and blessing springing to life? Among the rich? Among the powerful? No, Jesus says. Look where people are poor, where they feel crushed and defeated. God's kingdom is beginning with the people standing right here.